Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Okay, so while I sip on my lemonade, actually it's a flavored lemonade, but yeah, let's just say I'm gonna kind of start off with a summary of different topics before I do my story time because yeah, I haven't done a dating nightmare story time in a while, and it's just especially I don't know. It's like I feel like dating has different seasons, especially, oh my gosh, the winter time. It's like this is kind of like the player is going to play season. And then once you get to fall, men are like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. It's like, okay, I got to find one woman that I can tolerate for the winter season. So then it's like they try to, load up their caliber and try to see which one will be the best so that once it's winter, okay, she is going to be my winter girl or whatever, or winter woman. So, uh, and usually that's when I am highly guarded. And it's like one, well, no, one kind of got me, but not really. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. But yeah, I will tell that story another, because yeah, that's not even the story time that I was going to get into. But it's just really crazy how a lot of men get mad that they can't get into full-blown relationships, but then they feel like they can treat women like garbage, but we're just supposed to suck it up, buttercup, or not hate the player, hate the game. But then when women have been like dealt the terrible or the worst cards in the deck for so long and we get tired that we don't want to play anymore, we don't want to throw out another card. We're just like, I'll keep my cards, my bank account, my savings, my house, my sanity, my mental health, and everything like that. When we don't want to throw any more of those cards out, then men get mad that we don't want to play. And then they want to, call the dealer. And I was like, yeah, so you know what? Now I'm on a different, that would be an interesting poem or short story. But okay, get something to sip on because you already know my channel is as messy as my life. And I normally take about 30 minutes. 30 minutes. So the first things first, okay. I'm gonna be talking about in probably like later this week or whatever. Actually, no, I don't know when this episode's gonna go up, but I've been listening to a lot of the YouTube doctors and the ones that go by science and not by RFK Jr. I think, and it's like, and they think without the proper research, or they think with flawed data, and or with the hypothesis where you tie in like two x's to the y when it's only supposed to be one x to the y, or it's a racist x to the point where you're just like, oh, okay, and MAGA wonders why we keep comparing them to the Nazis when almost anything and everything they do is racist. Because even right now, I'm hearing that they're like on top of the whole thing with immigrants and undocumented and things like that. Now, some of them are trying to outlaw not only LGBTQ marriages, but also interracial. Yeah, we're bringing it back to the 50s, back to the case versus love and stuff like that. But then they want to say they're not racist, but they're doing everything racist within this country. But then a lot of them keep saying that it's because of their religion, it's because of Christianity. But I don't remember in Christianity where it is illegal. Like some people say it's in the Bible, but then I ask them what chapter, what verse. But then when it's like, I'll look it up and I'll do a whole different episode on that. But I just think it's so interesting how you try to put down all other languages and put English as our nation's language, which is mm, a little racist, yeah. And then even with the truck drivers, like, uh, and part of me feels like instead of doing this all of a sudden, It's like, why don't we have English as a second language for the truck drivers, like maybe online classes or something like that, so that they would be able to keep their jobs? But that's precisely the thing. They don't want them to keep their jobs. They want the basically, let's look at it, the white guys to take those jobs because they, and then even with the farming, oh, the orange guy wants the undocumented to go back to the farming because that's going to bankrupt the white farmers. But then you don't, there's like a lot of the pale male farmers are upset that they don't hear much from the black farmers, but they don't know because of racism and because of all the isms and the terrible treatment that black farmers have to face throughout history. They already know what to do. And it's really funny how a lot of people of color, and that's one reason why I've been dragging people of color lately, especially Middle Eastern and Indian, because it's like I don't really hear people talking about how much hate and the awful things they say about us. And I'm not scared to say what they say about us. And that's one reason why when now they're saying we need to come together, we need to fight this together. It's like, no, oh, like, what do you think we've been telling you? It's like you didn't believe us before election or you didn't care about us before election. And I'm going to say this in a future episode too, and I'm going to go over my thoughts on it. But when it comes to especially the Hispanic, like Latin community, when it comes to Middle Eastern community and the Asian community and everyone but the black or even the African community, not African American, African community, they a lot of their ancestors waited. I repeat, they waited until African Americans gave them the right to be able to vote, the right to be able to have a business, the right to have so many of the things in this country, and for the ability not to have the or go through the whites only, black only, because then it probably would have just said people of color or other on the water fountain back then. But yeah, a lot of them, I feel like they feel like they would have been part of the whites only water fountain or bathrooms or facilities, or even they would have been able to go to the diners and stuff. But it's really funny how their ancestors didn't get here until after my ancestors fought. Yeah. But then they want to drag us and say we're not smart enough. We were smart enough to fight for it. We were smart enough to team up and smart enough to do what we had to do. But then you guys were the ones that, oh, black people aren't smart enough, so let's take this away for the with the colleges and stuff. But now it's like, yeah, because the Asian community thought they were going to have more spots, but now they have less spots because, yeah, they didn't think it all the way through, especially when it comes to their names and everything like that. So I think it's amusing because a lot of them kept saying, we're stupid. Who's stupid now? And again, I'm not trying to say like you're just stupid, but that was a really stupid thing you guys caused on yourselves. But then some of, I just think it's highly amusing. And then even with the war and stuff going on, like we kept telling you, like I'm talking to the Middle Eastern community. Yeah. But it's like I've said in some of those videos, how many Middle Eastern men told me that black women aren't smart enough and we're not worthy of marriage. We're not worthy of anything but being played with and fooled with because we are like just sexual objects and things like that, and we're not capable of being good enough women to, because yeah, like I've already done, like I don't know when I'm gonna put those episodes up, but I talk about how many, like, because yeah, so many Middle Eastern men try to match with me on dating apps, but then once I start talking with them and discussing things with them, all of a sudden, oh, you just want to sleep with me. Oh, you don't think I'm smart enough. Oh, when it comes to my masters, you think I must be lying because like yeah, a couple of them even said that they wanted me to send them a copy, and they wanted me to send them the mail, like it's the legitimate type. I forgot what you call it. It's like it's on the tip of my tongue, but just like other things. Yeah, anyway. But I'm going to be also talking about the medical system and how I don't trust doctors, but I trust the science. And even with dating and stuff, it's like so many men want to put me down for being vaccinated. So many men want to put me down for this, like me researching the science and researching hardcore for who I trust, who am I going to trust to be my doctor. And also, I mean, there's so many things, but I trust science over doctors because if you've been listening to these episodes, you know my story. You know how doctors refused to even pay me any attention until it was almost too late. With like, and how, well, technically it was too late, but because of the sciences, because of surgery and everything like that, I it at least gets to be somewhat fixed. Never gonna be what it like how I was, but somewhat fixed. But it's because doctors ignored me and put me down and blamed me and told me that I was a liar, told me I wanted attention, told me I just wanted to get attention. Yeah, that's American medical, like, because, but it's just funny because a lot of these doctors, they want to act like they're so great and amazing, but they care more about their wallet than they do saving lives. And I think it also shows how so many doctors, and this is why we should not have capitalism when it comes to healthcare, because so many like when so many patients who talk to so many doctors and they say, I feel this pain, doesn't feel right, something's different, something's wrong, and doctors tell them to ignore it, but then ignore it until they're in phase 2, 3, or the end of the cancer to the point where they can't be treated. Yeah, yeah. And I've told you guys about my situation so much, but even with my walking, doctors laughed me out, like literally laughed at me or told me, go home and lose weight. And I'm the average weight. And this came from an overweight old white man. And I say white man because, like, even the way he was treating me, even the way that he talked to me was like partly, and that's one reason why, like, one day when I finally have the time, I want to go through his reviews. And especially I want to see what other black people said about him, because I'm pretty suspicious. I mean, it's only my opinion, but the way he treated me and the way he ignored me, dismissed me, and then a few years later, I could not walk anymore. And it's like, 'cause I'm describing the pain to him. I'm describing how awful it feels and how it's gotten worse throughout my life, but no one else wants to listen. He did not care. But if we had health care for all, it's like with some of the other countries, I wouldn't have to have asked for his permission. I would have just been able to make that appointment or make some appointments to try to get the information that I needed. But now my life will never be the same. And it's crazy because now in the dating world, men say I'm not good enough. It's like, first, it was because of my education and my goals, and because I wanted to be the best woman I wanted to be. But now we're in an economy, now we're in a country, now America, they want to shut women up and they want to keep us at home, and they just want us to make more lives. They just want us to have more babies. They want us to shut up, be quiet, be submissive. But yeah, this is America. We're going back. And now it's like, when it comes to doctors, oh my, like, and that's the things, like, I can't stand majority of like, it takes a lot for me to trust a doctor because I don't. I my And I think that's one reason why I have such a thick wall now. Because with dating, I've been deceived and lied to and used so much. With doctors, none of them believed me or trusted me. So called friends. Yeah, if you're on my Facebook, trust me, we're not friends. I just keep you around so I know what you're up to. Because keep your enemies close, you know? Keep, or actually, keep your enemies closer. But yeah, I don't want to keep them too close. Close is close enough for me because, yeah, the way they treat people, trust me, you don't want to get too close to most of the people I'm up. Yeah, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But okay, and yeah, speaking of the dating and friendship and everything, this is a dating nightmare story time. And I talk about the whole health thing because it's all going to be leading into the story because this is during, well, COVID. And this is about, I think, a year. Yeah, I think about a year to a year and a half after my surgery. And I don't I don't know if I was diagnosed yet. I think this might have been right before or right after my diagnosis. But I'm on I'm streaming on Meet Me and everything so I can at least talk and meet new people because not having many friends and like especially the people on Facebook, yeah, they were of no. Yeah, like most of them said I was nothing but a liar, nothing's wrong with me, and I just want attention. It's like a lot of people automatically like told me that I just want attention because even without me telling them that's what doctors said, that's what a lot of them said. And then even with my education, a lot of them said that I was just trying to get the education for more attention. And a lot of them were saying that they hoped that I failed because as long as I failed, I wouldn't be able to compete for the management roles and some of the higher positions because, yeah, I don't know. It's just, but anyway, I'm streaming and I'm on dating apps because I just broke up with Mr. No Heart and I match up with this one guy. And let's see, what am I going to call him? What am I going to call him? Hmm. I'm just going to call him Jerk. Yeah, because he's a jerk. Jerk, jerk. But anyway, it's like I ended up matching with this jerk. I think it was on Facebook dating or whatever. Oh my god, like it's crazy. The a lot, yeah, a lot of the jerks that I've met or matched with were either from Meet Me or Facebook dating. Scout has the crazy ones. Yeah, a lot of the ones that I met on Scout are just like, even though a lot of the same guys are on both apps, it's kind of like the filtering like way is just because a lot of the men that's been in prison or when I'm like if we talk because a lot of them hate me so much because because in November of 2022, I put a list of standards saying I will not date you if you have a prison record. I will not. If you listen to the story about Tomas, you already know. But a lot, like when I matched with Jerk on Facebook dating, we were messaging back and forth quite a lot and everything. And this is right around the time where I had, oh no, I was diagnosed. I was, because I had an interview on a disability YouTube channel. Oh no, actually, was it a YouTube channel? No, I think it was just a podcast. But now he no longer has the podcast, and I'm like, no, we need people like you to do these things, and it's like, yeah, I'm not much at all yet right now, whatever. But I feel like more people like ourselves, it's like we need to get out there and talk and speak and let people hear from the disability community. One reason why they stereotype us and judge us and tell us that we're either pitiful or we shouldn't get out the house because they don't see us getting out the house. They don't see us living our lives. It's so, or they want to say that we're not capable or able when, and that's one reason I say the handicapable because I am able. I know it's like, and I'm still experimenting with things that I'm not sure how I can do, but I am trying to do. But, anyways, I was doing this interview and or I was getting ready for the interview and we're messaging and everything, but he wanted to meet up the day of the actual interview. And I was kind of nervous and everything because I did tell him about my disability. I don't think I told him the name of it, but I was just like, okay, but I do have an interview on this day. And he was like, that's so cool. That's amazing and everything. So, but, but it's like while talking to him, it's like, yeah, everyone goes through trauma, everyone goes through horrible things in life, but it's like some red flags started appearing because it's like he's a father, he has kids, and I think like that's amazing, that's cool. It's like spend time with your kids, love your kids, stuff, but it's like, yeah, but it's like his baby mother. Oh, and they're an interracial couple. He's white, she was black, or she's black, she's still alive. But it's like he had the kids while we were talking on the phone and stuff at the beginning when we first met or whatever. But then, or met over the phone, or but the baby mother, had to pick up the kids for her time. And so throughout the couple of weeks or whatever, it's like first he had the kids and she had the kids. But one day he calls me out of the blue and he is just like angry and mad. And he's like, I can hear he's kicking furniture. And I'm like, what in the actual world? What's going on? And next thing I know, he tells me that she planned it all along. She planned this all along. Oh my gosh, I can't believe she planned this all along. I can't believe she did this to me. And I'm like, did what? And so he tells me how she literally drove the kids off to Alabama. Yeah, they're in Alabama now. And I'm just like, oh, all right. I'm sorry. Like, are you going to get them? How am I going to get them? I can't get them. And I'm like, if you're the father, how can you, like, it's called go to court or get a lawyer. It's like, I don't know all of the legal, like, things, but legally, if you're the father and those are your kids, and especially if you're on the birth certificate and everything like that, get a lawyer. And he's just like, I can't get a lawyer. You don't understand. And I was like, so yeah, yeah. But anyway, he calmed down a few days later, and then that's when he asked me if we can have a date on the day of the interview, whatever. And at first I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not sure. It's like, shouldn't you be focusing on getting your kids? Yeah, because that's why I couldn't believe it. I was like, I thought your your baby mama just drove away with your kids all the way to Alabama and you were kicking and screaming and having just, but now all of a sudden you just want to have a date with me? What's going on? I'm confused. This is really odd. And he was just like, well, I want to get to know you and you're worth it. And I was like, and before, like, I don't even have to, like, I'm going to do a part two, but I, red flags were kind of all over the place because part of me was just kind of like, okay, now I feel like you only want me because now you need somebody. You want something to hug on and whatever. It's like you don't really like me or care about me because you don't even know me that well yet. We're getting like we get along. We have decent conversation at least. I mean, it's not the best. Like I've said before, is like some of the best phone calls and conversation I had was with Tomas, which yeah. Oh, Tomas was after. Yeah, that's the business guy. But then he ended up ghosting me because I was publishing children's books. And he knew about my novel, and actually he read a couple paragraphs of my novel, and it was so cool. He can actually read. He's literate, and it's like he did give compliments and stuff at least. But oh yeah, I say that for a reason because I have an education and literacy series that I started recording too, but I will post those up in due time. But back to this jerk. It's like he ends up coming to pick me up while I'm doing the interview because I told him about what time, but then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna run some errands and stuff, and I'll just make sure I come by." And he said a time, And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's perfect. It's like, so I was like, this will give me enough time and I can make sure I'm dressed and ready and everything like that, which I was already going to have to be dressed and ready because the interview, I was going to have to be like camera ready and stuff. And so I'm doing the interview, and the gentleman and I were talking about disability issues and also my disability life and how doctors refuse to pay me any attention to in order to be diagnosed until my 30s and everything like that. And the trauma, the mental health, and all of the issues that I had to combat, and the nightmare of trying to get employment while walking differently, because a lot of them, especially within HR and the business owners, would be no good, absolute terrible bigots and ableists. And so, anyways, it went really well, and it was really funny because I even gave them a study, and yes, like this wasn't by RFK Jr. or whatever, but in some medical schools they still teach that Black people don't feel as much pain. Their pain tolerance is different than white people, but they have to realize some of that came from slavery when they used to do tests on the enslaved women without any painkillers and things. But it's like parts of me is just it's kind of it kind of makes me think about when some, especially some of the MAGA men, it's like they see my standards and they see that yes, my standards are high because I made sure I'm top shelf woman material. And you know what? I did have to start parts of my life back because doctors ignored me and treated me awful and basically disregarded me and were bigots because they were like, oh, this Black woman, she's just complaining. This Black woman, oh, just walk it off. This Black woman, just lose weight. But yeah, no, actually born with a disability. So they allowed me to suffer for over 30 years. But having that talk, having that discussion, and then like when I gave him the information about how some medical schools teach such racist, awful, terrible, idiotic things, it's like I remember his eyes kind of changed when I said that one, and I'm like, oh, he's probably gonna cut that out of the episode. But I'm like, hey, do what you do. If you're gonna keep your audience ignorant, that just shows me more about you. But yeah, more people need to know about the racism within the healthcare community. So, okay, I'm gonna start. Yeah, I'll tell. Yeah, because he picks me up like literally, I think 5 to 10 minutes before the interview is over. He rings the doorbell or comes to the door, whatever. But thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handy capable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too.